What is up, YouTube? It is KRYPT KEYPR, and I'm back again doing another track breakdown. Today we're going to be breaking down my TEAROUT track, True Evil. It is available for free download on SoundCloud, so if you want to listen to it in full, go to the link in the description. You'll catch it there. If you like it, download it. Go crazy. All right, let's jump right into this. So first I'm going to go over my master. I'll go over my processing rack that I use on pretty much everything, and then I'll go into my sidechain method, my pre-master, and then I'll break it down each section kind of track by track. So let's get started. We're already on the master. This song I was pushing really hard. When I say that, I mean I made it very, very loud. So there's nothing on the master that's being used other than this utility and this clipper. This is just JST clip. You guys have probably seen this before, or at least in my previous video. But all it's doing is clipping at 0. And this is actually just pulling everything down by 2.5 decibels. So now that we've done that, I'm going to go into my processing rack. So if you didn't see the last video, I'll go over this real fast. So I have all of these different knobs mapped to different things in this rack. This first knob changes the clipping style, so hard clipping versus soft clipping. We have the gain right here, so you can add some gain into that. The next knobs are width. So if we look at this little guy, actually, I'm sorry, this is the mid or mono gain and side gain. So if I turn this up, it's going to add more side signal. If I pull it down, it's going to cut more of the side signal, and vice versa. So for the mono signal, you kind of get that. This width knob is for adding stereo information. If my sound is mono, this is a plugin called Side Widener by JST. It's really great. It adds side signal without affecting the mono signal. There's a lot of things out there for post-processing that will add stereo information at the cost of some of the mono signal being processed as well. This plugin does not mess with the mono signal at all, so that's why I like it. I can make it more stereo or add more stereo with it. This sub-side cut is just going to these two utilities, turning them on and cutting everything below 200 hertz. That's pretty much those two. And then I have two multi-band compressors. I'm pretty sure it's just the stock Ableton ones. And so they're both turning on at the same time. So there's the amount knob. You can see both of them going up and down as I change that. Same with the time scaling on both of them as well. Okay. So other than that, I do have a Pro Q so that I can cut any harsh frequencies or boost something if it's still too low. Going into G clip, and then I have this EQ8. It's always off, but it's just in case I'm pushing something really hard into the clipper, and it does add some low-end information back in that I don't want. And then I have over here Shope, which is just an audio waveform visualizer, and everybody should know about span. All right, now that I've gone into that, let's talk about my side chaining. It's the same as my previous tutorial or track breakdown, and I actually automate it because I like the pumping that it gave in the build up until the very final 2 bars. These kicks were and claps were just going so fast that I figured, you know, it was too much. The side chaining was just a little bit crazy, so I turned it off, and then I brought it back on, and I did it for that section in the build only. All right, so basically my drums are routed into my pre-master. The drop is routed into the sidechain bus. So are the effects and atmospheres. And so is my Vox channel. So everything except for the drums is going into the sidechain bus. So if we listen to this, you can hear everything except for the drums. Now if we solo the pre-master, you can hear the drums as well. Awesome. Okay, so let's start breaking it down section by section. Basically, the intro is just an impact with a little bit of noise on top. So this impact sounds like this. Pretty basic. You can get it on Splice. This is the Ivory miscellaneous white noise. Ivory has great stuff, compressed at 100%. And then I added Pro R to it with a shit ton of space to make it last for a really long time. Just gives it a nice, like, shiny sizzle, and then I cut out the mids and low mids. So there's that. This is just a police siren sound effect with the compression amount at 50%. And then again, another Pro R. Those are the settings. Sounds like this. All right, you get the idea. So that's pretty much that. I have this group that has all of these tonal and melodic elements. So you get it. Basically, I'm automating the utility up so that it starts off a little bit quiet, making room for the impact and the noise. We have this very quiet background, orchestral, like choir. This is something that you can get from Spitfire. I love Spitfire. They have a bunch of great stuff. But yeah, this is just their epic choir. On sopranos and altos, long ah. So that's that. This one is another epic choir. It's on tenors and basses, on long ah also. So you've got the higher end of the spectrum and the mid to lower end complementing each other. This one is probably, yep, the piano. And then this, I believe this was also a Spitfire orchestra strings instrument, but you know, I froze it and flattened it because I think it might have been taking up a lot of computing power. So it made sense to just freeze and flatten. This is a like higher end atmospheric kind of Reese that I love to use. All right, so it's just 2 sine waves. I'm sorry, 3 actually, and one of them is pitched up 3 octaves. The other one is pitched up just 2, plus 1 semitone, and like 9 on the fine. Yeah, that's pretty much it. These LFOs I usually have up, so it gives it a little bit more of a vibrato. But this guy is going to the master tune. you can pause that and look at it. Here are the effects, just tube, distortion, a little bit of EQ, some hyperdimension. I believe that is actually a part of one of these knobs. Yeah, there it is. So there's that. There's some compression, not on multiband, but you know, a little bit, and then some reverb, and that one is also all the way up. So I believe that this started off as a preset that I found in Serum, and then I ended up making some additions to it that I thought sounded better and just saving it again. So that's the high-end layer, and this is the lower-end Reese. And notice in these sections, I have it going up and then down. So here it's down first, then up, then back down. And so I've also had some stuff automating. The pitch does automate on the build. The frequency also automates in this section as well on Pro Q3. So all right, so you guys kind of get that. I personally added more of the low end back in because I felt that when it hit this lower register, the sub frequencies still weren't hitting as big as I wanted them to. So I just grabbed the EQs and brought them up a little bit in those areas. I've also got the amount all the way up on the compression, and then my subside cut is also all the way up. So yeah, that's pretty much it. You kind of heard it all together, but here's one more time. All right, great. Now let's go back up here a little bit. Have a little bit of a white noise where I automated this auto pan on. I think it kind of gives a little bit more of an accent to that right before the build starts. So let's talk about these drums. All right, so I've got this build kick that I believe I made a while ago. Nothing crazy, just standard stuff. I was taking out some of the low mids again because I don't want it to be super punchy. It's the build, but I want the drop to hit really hard. This was another clap that I added in. And so you can see I was filtering out the clap there, and I kind of do the same thing with this kick. And then I did have a kick right here on the downbeat. Just a really big, strong downbeat. And right here we have this riser that I got from Splice. I boosted it by about 2 decibels. I compressed the balls off of it, and I cut some of the lows. I believe this also gets filtered up. Yep. So that's that. And then with this section, I did the same thing. You can also hear the tape stop that I have right here. And then on these guys, I had this pitch bend going up for both of them, up 12 decibels, or not decibels, sorry, semitones, so going up an octave. And then we get to the vocal. So this is from a mode step pack on Splice, and I was just lucky to find it because I thought it sounded badass. But then I added some post-processing to it. So without the post-processing, it sounds like this.
What you see before you is evil in its true form.
And now with it.
What you see before you is evil in its true form.
So I know it sounds kind of crackly and messed up, but I liked that, and I thought that it fit perfectly. It sounded kind of fucked up, so I thought that was cool. Yeah, so I started off with just a little bit of reverb, actually 69% of reverb. Nice. Yeah, that's pretty much Pro R. Amp. Here, let me turn this stuff off so that you guys can hear it from beginning to end. All right, so
what you see before you is evil. What you see before you is evil.
Gives some stereo information.
What you see before you is evil.
Adds a little bit of distortion.
What you see before you is evil in its true form.
This kind of pitches it down a little bit, adds some more of those weird, like, ringy frequencies that Frequency Shifter has been known to do. Then I saturated it. And then I just EQ'd it. Cool. And then I added this little sweep in. And so you can see this, I am automating the reverb on really fast. So that's how the sound keeps ringing out when the clip is over. All right. So I also do have a sub drop in this section. If you're not wearing headphones, you won't be able to hear that, but if you are, then you definitely did. So I'll just play this last little end of the build. All right, let's get into this section. So we have this little hat, and all I did was grab another one and reverse it. This also has an LFO tool on it. Something that you've seen me do in my previous videos is kind of cut the transient of the hat out because it's usually kind of harsh. So yeah, there you go. Sounds way better. This track was frozen and then printed to audio, so I will unfreeze it and show you how I did this. So without the processing, very quiet. But this is a NASCO preset. I changed it a little bit. I don't remember exactly what I did because it's been quite a while. But I know that I definitely changed it to make it different. And yeah, if you want to support NASCO, that guy's awesome. He makes his own plugins because he's just so damn smart. And he's really good at making sounds. So I've learned a lot from him, but basically it's just a square wave. This first LFO. Okay, so I turned off the sub and it's automating the cutoff. Let's see if it's doing anything else. LFO 1, sub oscillator level, filter cutoff. I don't see EQ, so I'm assuming in the effects section. Yeah. All right, cool. So yeah, basically you can just look at these effects. I'll leave it here for a second. You can copy them if you want to remake it, or you could just go subscribe to his Patreon and download a bunch of stuff. I think you can also get presets from him on Splice. I think he has a bunch there too. But there's the second half. Great. Okay, so now let's turn this bad boy on. So I have the volume bumped up almost 5 decibels, and I am compressing it at 100%. So I didn't do any EQing. I just added some soft sign saturation and then soothe. I love soothe. It makes my life so much easier. It just does like real-time resonant frequency peak suppression. So there's probably a better way to say it, but I thought that made enough sense. So I don't know why it's not on right now. Why we're not seeing it properly. Oh, because it's going to a group for some reason. Well, it's no longer in that group, and it would have been routed to this track previously, so it would have made it sound way better. Anyway, I used this EQ to cut out the low end, and yeah. Also, it sounds quiet because the drop group has this like free filter on it to cut out the lows and the highs, and that way once the drop hits. So if I go up to this section and solo this, turn this off. There you go. All right, so cool stuff. I basically just froze this, flattened it, or duplicated it, froze it, and flattened it. That way I got this audio, and then I pitched it up like, actually no, it was at 0, and then I pitched it down a fifth. So I pitched it down 5 semitones, and I just go back and forth with it. So that's pretty much that sound. And now let's take a look at this group right here. This is like the higher end part of the guns. This sounds like this. These are actually Raptorum samples. So shout out to Raptorum. Lucas is a cool dude. You should go support him and check out his music. So yeah, basically I just took 2 of his guns that I liked and layered them together. So without all of my shit, sounds like that's with everything. So that's without it. So there you go. Basically I've just got AU matrix reverb. Those are the settings right there. You can see OG frequency shifters right there. G clip is just adding a little bit of gain and pulling the clip down on them. Then I got OTT at 44%. You can see all of those. We've got some resonant peaks that we were trying to tame with this one, so I just cut out lows and cut out those frequencies, and then I boosted some of the high end and cut more of the lows out. Then we added some reverb. I believe this only goes for little bits at the very end of these sections. Yeah, so that's all that's doing. And then I just wanted to tame some of the side frequencies because it was very wide. Yeah. All right, let's get into this section. All right, so by themselves, they don't sound that great. I do have a saturator going into an EQ8, kind of pulling up some of the low mono frequencies and then ducking a little bit of the side frequencies there. This reverb is not doing anything. I don't know why it's there. Then we have span. Sometimes I put things in multiple groups because I like the way that it's processed and I want to add to it, and it just makes more sense to me so I don't have these huge long processing chains. But we have more AU matrix reverb. There's those settings. Another frequency shifter. This one is not doing anything. We actually split some chains. So we have two chains here. This one sounds like this. This one sounds like this. Together. And then we are saturating them together and cutting out some of those highs. So when you do two chains with OG frequency shifter, sometimes you'll notice like just pitching them down a little bit from each other, you'll get this warbly effect. And also, even if you pitch it enough, like down, it'll kind of create some frequency buildups. So I think that's what was happening there. And on this one, on the other one. So yeah, that's pretty much all that's going on that one. For these actual tracks, just cutting out lows, boosting a little bit of the 2K there. And this one, I was compressing by 55% and adding some low mids. I believe, yeah, I wasn't really doing much on these either. Compress this one. So these are actually the same samples. I've just pitched them down to fill out the frequency spectrum a little bit more. That's really all that I did. So hey, you can duplicate the same group, process it differently, and fill out the frequency spectrum. Make your life a lot easier. All right, so I've also got my sub right here. You guys have probably seen this in my previous one. If not, here it is. So it's just a square wave, and then this LFO is pitching it and adding some more percussiveness to it. This LFO is adjusting the volume so that it's not hitting immediately. I kind of like to do this to make sure that the transient and high end of the gun hit hard first before the sub kind of comes in. So it just gives the sub like a little bit of a delay behind the transient. Distortion on tube all the way up, and then I have my trusty overdrive, tone all the way down, dynamics all the way down, amp on bass, mono, and then EQ'd out all of the high end, and then we added wide and dirty. So it gave us some high end noise, and it was giving us more mids than I wanted, so I EQ'd that out multiple times, and then I wanted more high end sizzle, so added that, and then I saturated it together, and we have G clip boosted at 4 decibels on this one, and it's 100% soft. So there you go. Great. We don't have anything else there but the drop group altogether. There you go. That's pretty much it for the drop. I believe we already saw this kick on the downbeat here, so this is the same kick. All I did was add this ridiculous looking EQ to it, and then I boosted it 2 decibels. This is a clap that I made, and sometimes what I like to do to make it like really sharp is overdrive the like mid frequencies. So I also added a bunch of gain to this. I did not compress it at all. There's a little bit of side information taken out because it was just very stereo and I thought it was too stereo. So let's turn all of these off. That's what it sounds like without it. And that's what it sounds like with it. So pretty standard stuff, I feel. Now we can go into these hats. So these hats, I had put some reverb on this one. I believe this is an inactive rhythm hat, and that's another inactive hat. But I had put AU Matrix reverb on it, and it made it super stereo. So on the group, I processed it to cut a bunch of these side frequencies out because there was just way too much. And yeah, I pretty much just slammed these into a limiter to get them loud, but not so loud that they were harsh. So ceiling's at -2 decibels, and I have this crazy looking mid-side EQ going on the group. All right, this inactive hat was boosted 6.5 decibels, no compression, and cut right there. You can see it. And now on this one, I had already frozen and flattened it, but I explained to you guys I put AU Matrix reverb on there, and then I put this LFO tool. So together, they sound like this. Yeah, so that's pretty much that. The only other things that are happening are, I believe, this. So what I basically did here was I took these 2 drop guns, and there's this reverb I put on them to get this long tail. I resampled it, recorded it in another audio track, and then I brought it up here because I was trying to have this reverb wash sound, but because these are already all processed together, I couldn't put a reverb on this group and then still have them going and it sound cohesive. So I basically just recorded the effect of the washout and put it in there. And then again, we have this Ivory miscellaneous white noise with the Pro R mix going all the way up. So together. And yeah, that is basically it. I pretty much just copy and pasted everything to the second half, and the only thing I believe that is different is that I bring the sub in and the this filter. I cut it off sooner, so it sounds like this. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I think there's not really a whole lot else for me to tell you. I just copied the first half of the intro to this build section, and then this last little part for the build, because it's a fast build. And yeah, we can pretty much ignore all of this stuff, but I ended it there, so it ends with just a reverb out, and we'll listen to that now. All right, and as you can see there, I did put Redux on it to give it that like downsampling, bit reduced sound to the very end. But that was pretty much it. If you guys have any questions, you want to see me do specific topics, go ahead, let me know in the comments. All right. Thank you guys for sticking with me till the end. Let me know how you enjoyed that one down in the comments. Hope you were able to gain something from that. Again, the song link to SoundCloud is going to be in the description. So if you like this, consider subscribing. Please like and comment. I really appreciate it. Thanks. Have a great day.